Hello, welcome to Mentor Session number 3 of Bretonnia and High Elves, showing you all the latest power plays of Bretonnia and High Elves and the latest meta. It's just me here today. Yeah, just me. Looks like I'm going to have to run this horse on my own, see how that goes, until somebody else shows up halfway through. Play against Shog, you say? Is Shog here? If Shog's here, I suppose we could play the game and then just send the replay to Zerk. That might work. If Shog is here, if somebody wants to add him, I wouldn't want to disturb him, but if he's available, I can play him, and I'll play High Elves and Bretonnia only. If that was the case, just to get in with the theme sort of thing. Seems like a wise move. Anyway, do I have any replays to look at? I don't think there was many given. I've got this one. That wasn't anything. Oh, it was me beating Alexis. That was good. Yeah, that was also me beating Alexa. Oh, I forgot to save the free-for-all from yesterday because I wanted to save it so that I could check back to see if that squig value was right. Perfect time to lose against Anticity, you say? Yeah, I'm sure it is. Let's have a look at some of these replays. I believe I played High Elves in one of my... Oh, there was a High Elf play. Oh, there's a Bretonnia play. We did a lot of Bretonnia last week, so I'd like to focus on High Elves for this week. This one, well, I actually lost this one, believe it or not, but we'll watch it anyway. Because I'm showing one where I lost. Spoiler. But yeah, I probably shouldn't say that. I should probably not say who won or lost to begin with. That seems like a smarter move. It's a budget stream setup here, very, very new to this sort of thing. I think this is the first time I've ever done it alone, so we'll see how this goes. Oh. Lose in front of 2 crowds, yeah, double the popularity. I mean, infamy. I mean, neither. I mean, both. So, the new update came out. That's interesting. We should probably try and do Dark Elves, because I don't know. No, actually, I wouldn't do Dark Elves, because they might get a rework, but we'll have to see how I think we'll get a poll up after this stream to see what everybody wants the next session to be for next week. What factions people want. Any ones people in chat want specifically? Trebs as Brett, are they viable? You see, this game, I always thought they were viable against elves because of how clumped up elf formations are, but this game proved like otherwise. So I have to see. I could see them against Empire, yeah. I could see them as a fairly decent artillery sniping tool, like fairly decent. I think they'd lose to bolt throwers, but they might be able to get mortars pretty easily, which Empire might bring to prevent spam of archers. This one's taking an exceptionally long time to load in. It always is. First game of the day. Always takes a while to load in. Bathwater Trebs. Yeah, I see. I believe Bathwater Trebs might be more accurate than regular Trebuchets, which might be where all their value comes from. Anyway, looking at some armies, the High Elf army here worked exceptionally well. Normally, Bretonnia are very good at killing elf factions, which, yes, I know I lost a favoured matchup. Hilarious. Everyone laugh. Here, I'm rocking a front line of men-at-arms and peasant mob. It might have been a better idea in hindsight to go battle pilgrims, but men-at-arms do tend to trade fairly well against all the high elf infantry, be it spears, Sylvan Guard, or just even rangers. They trade fairly well with, especially if they're popping like Flesh to Stone or some sort of healing spell on them, or if you just throw the Fey into melee with some Mortis Engine effect, that can work fairly well. Triple Archer, Triple Pox Archer here, because archers just on the Bretonnia part are really effective, and the Pox arrows no longer affect your own units, so you can really just fire them and give all your units a combat advantage by not being poisoned. Trebuchets in the back. My mindset was if he went box, or with any halberd units, or any really expensive archers, then I could utilise these very well. We'll see how that goes. I know a mistake I did make here, which in hindsight I really shouldn't have done, but I'll see how that goes. In the back here, actually I'll do I so that you can see the unit cards. Knights of the Realm. Companions of Quenelles do very well against every High Elf Cav. They're a perfect counter for the Fireborn. They'll destroy Dragon Princes any day of the week, and they're also Dragon Hunters pretty much. So A very strong anti-large tool there. Same with just regular questing knights, can do the same thing, just to a slightly less degree. Another Knights of the Realm here, just on the corners to protect the flanks. Knights of the Realm will trade very well against Silver Helms. They probably lose to Dragon Princes, but they beat most elves in terms of the elf army. For the high elf army here, in the front line, I believe it is 2 Sylvan with 3 spearmen behind. Yes, it is. So the strong Sylvan Guard will do a lot better against the men-at-arms trade, and they will always win. Not to mention they're a really good anti-large unit, so they'll beat any knight unit any day of the week. For leadership, the metal of Mage with Final Transmutation and Plague of Rust, a very strong power duo here, because the Final Transmutation can easily kill any Bretonnian cav blobs that happen, and the Plague of Rust, you'll notice a lack of armor piercing that tends to be, apart from in the Phoenix Guard. So Plague of Rust can mean that the Fireborn can even beat like the Companions of Quenelles. If you overcast the Plague of Rust and reduce their armor down to nearly 20, that means the Fireborn can quite often win that matchup, which can really change and swing the identity there. And then the backline archers, again, you can Plague of Rust something and then just spam it with archers and destroy it very nicely. Silver Helms, Fireborn in the back. Fireborn, very strong cav, especially if you're using Plague of Rust on an enemy unit. They can almost certainly win against a Bretonnian cav unit as long as you Plague of Rust them. And Phoenix Guard in the back, because it's the good covering unit. This will be, as long as you stay in, their weakness would be ranged units and cycle charging, but if you can get them in prolonged combat, they'll destroy nearly anything in the Bretonnian roster, so they're just something that you really have to avoid as playing as Bretonnia or High Elves. Alexis is here in spirit. By in spirit, I mean chat. So if anybody has any questions, Alexis, if you could just answer those for me, that would be very much appreciated. Anyway, we'll get this battle started. Now, I believe the first mistake I make is, despite having the ranged advantage, I choose to advance my front line, thinking that will put more distance between my front line and my trebuchets, which, while it is a good method, it also means that they can't get closer to you, and these are very inaccurate. So the closer they get, the way more accurate they can be. It tends to be my downfall. These did not end up paying for themselves because of their distance, because they just weren't getting enough accuracy. You see, they're doing quite well here, but they just this seems to be at the best they did. We'll see how it goes. The High Elf archers will outtrade peasant archers nearly any day of the week, which is the problem. I feel like I could have also done without bringing peasant archers in this matchup because of that, because they are so well outtraded for these archers. You can see just how that one's gone already, and I have not put a dent into their archers. Frontline clashing. Another thing that is against me here is I'm going to lose the frontline fight. It's going to trade well, but it's going to be a sure loss because it's men at arms versus Sylvan Guard, which is not going to go well. Here I do give them Favour of the Fae, which will definitely help them in some engagements, but I can only give that to one unit at a time, realistically. This panic I have with the archers as well, you'll see. I noticed that I'm losing the archer engagement here and here, and so I focused my trebuchets onto the archers. In hindsight, it probably would have been a better idea just to focus them on the Phoenix Guard, because now that my archers are dead, their archers really have nothing to shoot at. I'm going for a flank here with my cavalry, but I make the mistake of splitting them up. It would have probably been better to have them as a single solidified forces, because there's really nothing that could stop all 4 cav units at once, but here they're able to isolate them one at a time and destroy them. My trebuchet is not landing much hits there. Here I charge them in to try and catch these Silver Helms, but they end up getting caught on the Phoenix Guard, which is the worst place for these companions to be. I also misidentify this as Teclis and not Tyrion, and so I go after him with 2 paladins. It turns out that Tyrion will beat the 2 paladins, and so he can actually be a quite strong choice for High Elves in this matchup, because he is rather difficult to kill with the normal Fey double paladin set. The Fey I've just thrown into melee here for effects of Mortis Engineness. Here we've got, I surrounded the Fireborn here, but it's not what I really want them to be surrounded with. I even pop regrowth on these boys, but I want like a surround with the Companions of Quenelles ideally, because they're the perfect counter to them. What are you saying, Lexus? This isn't a dark... Oh, he's asking how we'll cast this. Why did you at me? How not to Bretonnia? No, we're looking at the High Elf side, so we're seeing how to High Elf. It's much superior this way. Just pretend it's not me on that side. But you can see from this distance, the trebuchets just do not have the accuracy at this extent. Like, they've been firing on these guys for quite a while, and they just haven't done the damage they should be. If I had let them got a lot closer, I probably could have got a lot more value out of those trebuchets, but because they're so far away, they're just not doing anything. Here, the 2 paladins. I've noticed I just can't seem to kill Tyrion because of his high 125 armor. And the fact the paladins aren't armor piercing, so I decided to go for the mage instead. But I've noticed I really do lack, now that these companions are getting swamped with archer fire, I really do lack the sort of killing tool for actual Tyrion, especially he hasn't even dropped his heal yet. So he definitely has a long way to go before he's nearly anywhere dead. And these companions just taking a lot of archer fire. Because he won the archer engagement so strongly, he can just rain damage down on those because they're unshielded, even if they do have fairly high armor. Focusing on just whatever I can with my leftover pox arrows, but it's not looking super well. I could rely on the Fae's Mortis Engine effect to whittle down the rest of the archers, but the Fae is in jeopardy of dying here because one of my paladins, I believe, is already gone. I think, yeah, I've already lost one paladin. The other one is now just fighting Tyrion, which will not go well for him. I'd say in this matchup, playing as Bretonnia, it might be a better idea to bring a Hippogriff Lord of some variation, just in case of Tyrion or any other sort of flying lord. But yes, this is the WWC game I lost. Thank you for that. Yeah, so I couldn't think of a way to deal with Tyrion. It might be better just to prioritise bringing more questing knights. You can still probably bring the Fae and a paladin to guide her, but you might want more questing knights to sort of just swamp on Tyrion and destroy him. You also want trebuchets to be as close as possible. Even though I was thinking smart and thinking, oh, they're so far away, there's no way that anybody's going to get to them. This also means their accuracy is terrible. I would be a lot better off just letting them come to me and keep shooting them. There is definitely situations where putting distance between your artillery and the rest and your front line can work, but this is not the situation for it. I'm basically using this men-at-arms shield just to hold things in place while I shoot them with the trebuchets, because they really all I have left to deal with things. I'd say almost all of my balance at the top is just coming from those trebuchets and the fact they still have ammo. Because if they were a lot closer, I say I could still have a fair decent chance of winning this, but because their accuracy is so poor at this distance, they're really not doing anything. And the Fae is being chased here by Tyrion. All my cavalry is gone by this point, which is the Bretonnian strength in this matchup. I think it's definitely important to bring more cavalry as Bretonnia against any elf faction. The high elf player just played quite well here as well, which was really what doomed me with the Plague of Rusts dropping on their specific cav units to help him win those cav fights. His Fireborn's still alive, despite being surrounded by Knights of the Realm and Cresting Knights. They won that engagement, thanks to a multitude of Plague of Rusts on the enemy. Even though I regrowthed them, they still won that engagement. The Fae getting surrounded here by Phoenix Guard and Tyrion coming in for the final blow. If this blob was a lot closer to my trebuchets, I'd be able to destroy this so nicely, but this accuracy, they can't even hit this huge blob of high elves, which is quite a shame. And the Fae goes down, and with that, pretty much the game. There it goes. A valiant defeat it was, but a misplay from me. So you can see these trebuchets, they did fairly well. This one not as well. This one paid for itself, this one didn't pay for itself, but from the amount they fired and the amount of shots they got off, they would have done so much better work if they had been closer. The front line as well, not really winning, which is the problem here. So it just doesn't win, and that means you can't get to the archers with what you want to get them with. It might be a better idea to bring a peasant mob front line with battle pilgrims, or just go full peasant mob and rely on the entirety of on a stronger cav force to engage with. This high elf army looking pretty good in terms of countering Bretonnia. Why did you bring men at arms? Because men at arms trade well against spearmen. They do trade fairly decently, but I don't know. Perhaps I should have done that. More peasants probably were required. Paladins did get fairly good value, but they just didn't. Most of that value was actually just coming from killing the mage, and doing what damage Tyrion had on him. But Tyrion didn't even pop his heal yet. He still had a full heal to go through, so they did not do their jobs whatsoever. The Fae did alright with a Mortis Engine effect. I think the Fae is probably the matchup in this choice to bring the Fae. Maybe one Paladin. Perhaps Peasant Mob full front line, and then rely on Questing Knights and Knights of the Realm and a Trebuchet or two in the back line. And yeah, the High Elf army works pretty well. Southern Guard are just a good choice against old Bretonnia. Tyrion, I believe, might be the choice against this sort of thing because he beats everything in terms of Lord options, and his heal makes him quite hard to kill. His archers as well performing very well for their cost. And combining it with Plague of Rust obviously had a good synergy there. The Fireborn getting a ton of value. Despite being surrounded by 2 units, they still come out on top. Just showing their power there. Go see your replays. What replays? You haven't sent any in. But this one you lost. Have you sent any? Oh, you put a replay in this one. No, you haven't. Well, Brett, actually there is one. But it's a Bretonnia one. I have to do High Elf games. I need to do it's High Elf week. Low IQ. I don't need Bretonnia games. We were through this last week. We need High Elf games. High Elf games, High Elf gains. Haven't covered much High Elves, so I need to do more of it. There's one here from Lycus, I believe. This is in date, right? Yeah, this is in date. I'll do this one. It's a 3v3, so take it with a grain of salt. But I'll get this one up. Oh, I need to find the file again. I should really just have the file shortcut saved at this point. I usually have it up already, but I just can't be asked to save it. Gaming PC. App data. Roaming. The Creative Assembly. Warhammer 2. Replays. Okay, we're here. Drag. Left click. There you go. Should be able to redo it. Also, this background. I think this is the best background. It's a bit of a tangent, but even I like the Vampire Coast one, but I got old of looking at it. And maybe it's just because it's new and sort of the new feature is sort of looking good. But this one looks good. I like this background. Am I the only one that thinks it's the best background? Am I the odd one out in this situation? Probably, but still. Replace. There it is. HE versus Various. I'm sure that... Oh, it's out of date. Oh, this was before patch. All our replays are done because they're all before patch. It should be okay, but I think I was in this game, wasn't I? No, I wasn't, but I was watching it. I was spectating the game, so... Yes, a Chad background indeed. 10 out of 10. Well, 8 out of 10. But pretty solid one, but, could be better. There's more explosive backgrounds, I'm sure. Wait, I am recording, aren't I? Yes. Yeah, the Hydra Shadow and all the beasts in the cage, yeah. Pretty cool. I'm back. Hello. The game is going on. Which one was this? Oh yeah, there's this one. Yeah, this one. So we have Bretonnia, Empire, and Tomb Kings. I won't take a look at those builds, but we can have a look at the High Elf army, so we can go through them a bit. Just 1 second. I'm back. So, Elf armies. Looking at some of the units that are here, we have some War Lions, supported by some Illyrian Reavers. This can be a strong combo. I personally like sometimes using Silver Helms along with War Lions of Trace, because you have the sort of armoured, this mobility core of armoured and armour piercing to run around with and strike fear into anything that comes into it. Some Spearmen, followed by Signs of Methlan and Spearmen. The ROR, often you'll bring it because you have some money left over and you think, why don't I bring an ROR Spearman? You'd be better off just bringing the Sovereign Guard, to be honest. The ability so often gets forgotten. That's not a word. Forgotten. It's only, first of all, it's disabled if mana is less than 50%, which is surprisingly common because you're popping out spells whenever you have free mana usually. And secondly, its radius is quite often remembered. You don't normally box up that much. If you are boxing up with High Elves, then by all means take it. But you often have a fairly spread out front line to make up for your lack of numbers, sort of thing. So not going to see probably much swingingness from the ROR there. Some Rangers in the back with triple archers and a Mage of Shadows. On a chariot as well. Not often brought on a chariot. Typically a horse is usually enough, but a chariot can certainly do good at going through some cheaper front lines, which you definitely get with these factions. Men-at-Arms, swordsmen, skellies. That'll do a nice bit of damage, which is nice to have your caster sometimes actually doing something, not just standing in the back line, even if it is a bit risky to get her in there. Also forgot to mention there is a noble here, just in case any single entities come along that these can't really deal with. That works fairly well as well. Up here, a princess on her dragon. I forget the princess's abilities. I believe she has an Arrow of Kurnus sort of thing. Yes, and a buff for damage. And basically just a worse sisters. Anything to add on that, Alexis? Because really just worse sisters to me. It's hard because I'm the only one giving the opinions, so I'm held completely liable for what I say. Alright, on to the next one. Here we have, that is of course a Lithanar's subfaction, for those of you unaware. Even though that's not even a Lithanar. Unbelievable. Ruined my immersion. Over here we have the regular High Elves being Spearmen, 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 and Spearmen. Lots of Spearmen front line. Not seeing much Sylvan Guard, unfortunately, because Sylvan Guard, despite being expensive, are a very strong unit. They are the Longbeards of the High Elves. Very, very good stats. And even though they're expensive, they can still serve pretty well as a front. Even if you just mix them in with some regular Spearmen, they're still, like we saw in the last game, they still do their work. Followed by Rangers. Lothan Seaguard in the back. A lot of backline defense, you'll notice. Like, you have Lothan Seaguard, which are good because they're archers that can defend themselves, but then you also have Silverhelms in the backline defending. That's usually not what you either want the Silverhelms to be flanking, or you just don't bring the Silverhelms and then you bring the Lothan Seaguard. You don't usually need this sort of situation to be going on. Teclis, of course, with his Star Dragon friend. Teclis having a wide access to his spells. Not only does it mean he has a lot of spells available to him, but it also means he has the 3 casting buffs. So he provides a lot of different buffs as long as he's casting. And regrowth, of course, being very good to use on a Star Dragon, which cannot heal itself. Also coming in with a Net of Mammontok and an Enfeebling Foe. Actually, let me just have a look at the old Shadow Mage's spell lore. Just coming in with a Pit of Shades. Interesting. Interesting. That can be useful. Definitely already has a lot of chaff clearing things already. But Pit of Shades is a fun spell, so I can't blame him for bringing it. Onto the old Avalon, of course we have Alariel the Pigeon Queen, up with a Pigeon of Fire, a Flamespire Phoenix to be precise, and Double Noble, a typical combo because the old Star of Avalon is very effective on Double Noble, be it on foot, on horse, or most oftenly on chariot. Over here we have some sort of conversation in the woods between Mounted Yeomen. Oh yeah, it's Ted, isn't it? Yeah, he's bringing Mountain Yeomen. Don't bring these. Illyrian Reavers will beat them as long as they don't get a flank charge. More Illyrian Reavers here, before we go off and support that. Spearman front line with 3 Spearmen front line, quite a shallow front line. Rangers, here we can see where the money's gone though. Sisters of Avalon and a Scions of Methlan. Again, Scions of Methlan, you'd probably better switching them out. You probably want the Spearmen, the Scions of Methlan on the front line and the Spears in the back because of the limited usage they can sort of get out of themselves. Typically, you'd be better just bringing a what are they called? The good Spearmen. I mentioned them a second ago. But Sylvan Guard, that's the one, because I think they're about the same price point. So bringing those over the Signs of Mathan is just a better option, to be fair. 2 archers along with the Sisters of Avalon. Pretty normal sort of Sisters of Avalon build. Like, I feel like I'm playing 10 years ago, except from these aren't chariots. 10 years ago? 1 year ago. Back when that was the meta. I know, because I'm the meta bitch. As for the other armies, well, it's a Ted army, but he brought trebuchets, which is different for Ted, so hats off to him. He has a caster, let's see if he forgets it. Of course he has Elbrick. I won't mention more than that. I believe this is Incap's army. Marcus, the Sunmaker, and Steam Tank. This is a meme. Over here, I forget who was playing Tomb Kings. I believe it was Necrotic, but I could be wrong. Double Bone Giant. Tomb Prince on a chariot. That's actually not something I see, like, really ever. Just thought I'd note that. Archon on his horse, because it's Archon. A lot of anti-large in terms of the front line. A lot of anti-larges in his entire army here. Should be noted that he doesn't really have much anti-infantry at all, which you kind of want some when you're dealing with the cheap, well, not the cheap, but the low entity counts of spearmen. Like, you really want something to be able to cleave through those spearmen and rangers quite easily. Nothing there for that though. Anyway, let's get this battle underway. It'll be a while of marching, but we can go have a look at see what happens in this engagement. The Illyrian Reavers not getting the counter charge off. I believe they'll still win. I could be wrong. I might be wrong, but of course these other Illyrian Reavers coming over to help, causing them to retreat anyway, so we will never know who would have won that engagement. Tankers, I mean. Oh, those are Blessed Field Trebuchets, not just regular ones. Yes, those are the triple Blessed Field Trebuchet. Again, I feel like those are, you can just see here, I feel like those have more accuracy. I actually forgot to test this, because I wanted to see if Blessed Field Trebuchets are more accurate. If anybody's free, somebody could test that, because I feel like Blessed Field Trebuchets are a lot more expensive than regular Field Trebuchets, but they seem to have a lot more accuracy. You'll see here, just they're all hitting like dead center of that unit, compared to that game that I showed earlier. You can definitely see an improvement in accuracy. Matt German being caught off here, trying to get into the archers, but there's just too many Illyrian Reavers there, they're going to die. Some engagements going on over here. I believe we can look at this. No, I think I'm going to try and cover this all in one, because I'm brave. Marcus getting some shots off onto the dragon. Dragon trying to breed. He'd probably he'd be way better just going after him at this point. The breath doesn't do much damage to single entities, but he'd be better just landing on him and killing him. A huge clump of cav here, putting all that fire into those Illyrian Reavers who are unshielded and with low armor. Those are going to die. You think sometimes you just need more light cav. He could be using these, though I only sent one, I'm not sure, but you tend to need more light cav than you expect to chase off skirmishers. That Hellstorm firing into those sisters there, doing a fair chunk of damage. That's really what they want to be aiming at. Expensive infantry. A Flamestorm, I believe that's an Incap branded Flamestorm, so I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's going to go through straight through those off the Sea Guard, because it's an Incap branded one. This Dragon getting pounded, but almost killing Marcus, so, you know, Dragon doing what Dragon does best. An interesting use of that spell there. Front lines are clashing here. I do like the men-at-arms sort of exchange rate. Ted actually hasn't forgot about his caster, so, you know, hats off to him. Dragon again still getting pounded, but I believe it's got a regrowth at this point, which is helping it keep in the fight. Front lines clashing over here. Over here is just a very delayed fight. Tomb King's taking their time to get over here. The Empire kind of being swamped by both Alitanars and the base High Elf factions. That Dragon realising he's maybe outmatched, trying to get out of there for some more cycle charges. Silverhelm's in the back, trying to cause some disruption. Ooh, a Knights of the Realm unit here, getting a good charge off on these into the rear of those Rangers. That's really what you want to be using to clear Rangers up, just heavy cav. These large though landing. Knights of the Realm are anti-large, and there's more coming in though, so you could regret this, depending on if these get here in time. Archers firing in. These trebuchets, but I believe they've been firing at sisters the whole time. Don't think they've changed target, but not a great usage of their ammo at this point. Over here, firing some shots off at the Sunmaker, trying to shut that down, even though it's already out of ammo. Almost out of ammo, even. Teclis sitting in the trees, being the Pigeon King. Quite a clump going on over here. A Wrath of Manan, doing some good damage to those spearmen. Didn't do much else. That banishment, I feel like, where was that banishment from? Wasn't that a High Elf banishment? I feel like this would have been a lot more better placed there. I believe that was a mistake. Some archers sitting in the back line here. These ones could definitely be firing. It's always important to notice sometimes if your archers have killed what they should be shooting at, or the likes, just to make sure they use all their ammo. Some trebuchet crew going into the melee. Yeah, and that's Ted for you folks. Over here we have Teclis along with his dragon teammate gooning out another warrior priest. Not much the warrior priest can do against that power duo. Lots of archers firing into those Empire Knights. Empire Knights being a fairly okay unit, especially if they've got face backwards. They have a bronze shield and high armor, but you know, if you're shooting something, it's better than shooting things that are shielded and engaged already with your own soldiers. Risk that friendly fire. Archers firing into some spearmen, not the best choice, would probably save their ammo for those skirmishers. Some huge bone giant shots coming in down here. Doing some pretty good damage against those Illyrian Reavers, but he really wants to be trying to kill off some of those War Lion models. Oh, it does good damage to the Noble as well. Another dragon. It should be noted that I believe a common theme with High Elves is that every High Elf Lord here is on a flying mount. That is something you should really get expecting to see. Something I expected to see actually, and then I came up against Tyrion. That's basically what you tend to see, is either a Flying Lord or Tyrion. The Phoenix getting surrounded here. We'll have to see if he gets his rebirth ability off or he's just going to explode. If he dies, he will see, is he going to explode or is he going to get a rebirth? Ooh, is he gonna go? And no, he does, he gets the rebirth. So of course that being the Phoenix ability, firing off to all three there. He'll run away, but he'll come back with that much health. So that'll definitely be a good comeback. Really rolled the dice well there. There's Trebuchet still firing off. The old princess on a dragon flying around, firing shots off wherever she can. This is definitely the better target for the archers, just taking out as much of that skirmish cav as you can. The Scions finally getting engaged at this point. You can see just how their ability has sort of gone to waste here, being in the back line, not doing much. Going after the steam tank here, the Bone Giant's trying to give covering fire though. You can see how the Star Dragon is back to full health. We saw it at like 20% earlier. That is just the power healing of Teclis. That is the power of the Pigeon King. Meanwhile, the Pigeon Queen is not looking so good. Surrounded and most likely going to die. That would be a grave hit if he loses old Pigeon Queen. Healing gone at that point. The High Elves looking not in a great position overall, but we'll have to see how this turns out. Knights of the Realm in the backline are going to have fun clearing up these archers and just charging into the back. This side looking like a Ted win. A Ted triumph, some might say, although I wonder if he's used his caster. If only there was some way I could check. He might have forgotten about him. Oh well. Ooh, a Pit of Shade's going down here. Not quite a good Pit of Shade, just getting some skirmish cav, but when that's the only spell you have, any Pit of Shade is a good Pit of Shade. That's why it's normally a better idea to bring just a sort of more variety of spells. Just so that if one fails, you can throw another one out. Two dragons are flying around here. That one getting shot by the steam tank. Or the meme tank. Oh, and two Bone Giant shots also ringing out. Trying to shoot through a forest. Luckily, he's sort of aiming over it. But it's never a good idea to try and fire artillery through a forest because you can just waste ammo at some point. Always try and aim for the targets outside of the forest. The leftover of a L'Oreal faction just getting kind of destroyed here. The Phoenix, of course, is back with almost full health, so he'll do something. But I don't think that heal really would change much to this fight. Although it was a good heal. Very, very strong heal. Oh, I believe Ted's caster's moving. No, it's been discovered though. We'll see if he forgets about that. Wall into Trace. Despite Spearmen being anti-large at this point, they're in so low health, it's worth just charging them in to break them. Some people make the mistake of saying, oh, anti-large unit, I better run away. But when they're on this low health and they're this cheap, it's worth just charging in to break them sometimes. Ooh, more Bone Giant shots going into these lords and these dragons. These being a terrible duo, the mistake here of the amount of dragons that High Elves brought, and just the sheer Bone Giant shootiness. Is that a Doom and Darkness attempting to try and rout off, or I guess that was just a desperate cast to Markan as he goes down. Attempting to try and rout off that noble, but to no avail. Ooh, this is not what you wanted to. You should be charging your chariot into, but luckily she seems to be going through fairly well. If she got caught up on those, that could be a lot of damage, but she got through it in the end. Ariel's faction, or Alariel, or one of the elf women. Oh, Ted using his caster now as a melee unit. At least he's not forgotten about it. In the backline here, Trebuchet's able to come back. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing back here, but we'll see how those go. Rangers coming in, Warrior Priest. Over here, the Steam Tank fighting with Teclis. The Steam Tank has very low melee defense, so I doubt Teclis is going to miss a hit here. Probably going to result in a lot of damage, but the Bone Giants are here coming in to support. They probably want to try and surround Teclis and beat on him so that he can't escape. Also means that they can't get all hit by the same sort of splash. So it's always a good idea when there's a single entity, you want to surround single entities. That is the weakness of single entities, getting them surrounded. Oh, and at that point I believe that was the concede. Of course, maybe Ted actually did remember it as caster, and it was just that, you know, this was a bugged replay due to the update. Oh, is somebody here? Psycho's here. Thank God somebody's here. So.
Yeah. Well, I did say it was on the 20th instead of the 19th, the mentor session.
Oh, it's every Friday, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I don't know who did that. They should.
Who did it? They did it wrong on the event schedule, did they?
Yeah, they put the 20th.
Who did that? I'm going to file a report. I'm going to arrest them.
To the guinea pigs.
Ah, no worries then. Is that somebody else? Oh no, everybody joins. Oh, Ted's here to defend himself, maybe.
Yes.
Ted.
No, I just wanted to say that I'm pretty sure that was indeed a bugged replay.
Was that a bugged replay? Was there things happen there that did not happen this?
Aye, because I saw. If memory serves, I did not kill Alariel, and those double nobles just healed and destroyed everything.
Oh.
So not a Ted triumph. It was.
Oh, that was a bugged replay, was it?
Ted tragedy.
Ted tragedy. That's the shame. Did you forget about your caster though, or did you?
No, I didn't.
You did. Oh, good.
No, she was in that forest, nice and safe, casting Earthbloods and other spells.
Because if you did that again, we'd have to start calling it the Ted.
Yeah, the Ted move.
No, I remember my caster. She did okay, but
good.
I do remember losing that because the Alariel double noble.
I tuned into a stream of it quite halfway through, so
yeah,
I wasn't entirely sure how that went.
You already started.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that was not a win. That was definitely a loss.
Unfortunately, why did you come in and tell me that? We could have had a Ted triumph on the table.
No, I can't allow that.
Your dishonour, the lady.
It's not meant to happen.
His dishonour, the lady. Alright, interesting.
So, interesting. I was here an hour earlier, but no one showed up.
Yes, I am here. The lady. Well, we're out of replays. Interesting enough. So, are you here full time, Psycho? Are you here? Here, or are you just here in spirit?
No, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah.
Here. So. Okay. So, we do a 1v1 with you. Just I'm me playing high elves and you playing whatever, and then I can just sort of run through how I build. Of course, you won't watch the stream because that would be cheating, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, that'd be cheating.
Yeah, that would be naughty. I wouldn't want to do that. All right, I'll get a game up then.
Yeah, let me just find Warhammer 2.
Find that game. Where is it? Where did I put it? Eshin map, that sounds good. Hi elves.
I shall pause the stream then.
Good. But you also want to leave the Discord as well afterwards. No, you don't have to do it yet, but when we start building.
I was really confused because I thought we usually started an hour earlier.
I believe it's 6:30 there. I noticed actually a bit too late. I was away from my PC and I was like, it's time. I was expecting to have like a wall of pings like late, and then I'm the only one here there, so.
Well,
everybody else is late.
I was here an hour earlier and I sat there for like half an hour and
got
then
the timing wrong.
There and I was like, and then I looked at the schedule. I was like, the 20th. Okay, I guess that's the new thing now. Doing it during the Hoi 4 game, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You got a dual wield. One tab of the Hoi 4 with a tab total mentoring. That's how we do it now. Ooh, I'll ping you an invite. In case you can't see the old game.
Yeah, I'm just waiting till. Don't worry, I'll join on you. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
I am currently sneaking around as the invisible.
Sneaky.
When you bring only skeletons in a Tomb King army.
Skeletons only challenge.
Yeah.
It's not a challenge actually, it's very possible.
Because, drown them in numbers.
Overwhelmed.
You just rush them with Rush them with as many lords as possible, so you can just be like, but I have 10,000 guys in a single battle.
but I have 10 models. You have 10,000.
I like those odds.
I like my odds. Easy win. You on the way, Psycho? Or are you downloading the update?
Yeah, I'm still loading.
No, it's still loading. Is it okay? Sorry.
Yeah, because I wasn't in Total War at the.
Oh
right
yeah,
away,
that's
so.
the first that I load up. So.
Yeah, someone said that they could try and play.
Ooh, who said that? Potato sauce. Ooh, we'll have Psycho give it a go first, and then afterwards we can have other people jump in. Things we're out of replays, we have to make our own replays now.
Yeah.
We have to make our own fights to watch. So yeah, Psycho jump in first, and then afterwards we can get you Potato Sauce in, or anybody else that wants to play against high elves. Because often late, being able to know playing against high elves is sometimes the best times to learn high elves, because you'll know all the weaknesses and all the little ways to exploit it. So it definitely can help out. Oh, I'll be back in a second.
You know. So, wait, is Willow gone? Ah, I see. I guess it's time to just start constantly bad-mouthing him. All right. I cannot see the chat, therefore
I'm back.
I cannot read the chat.
You cannot read.
Yeah, no. The curse of Chaos Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Illiterate.
why they don't have any written things. That
Can't read. No, it's fair.
Yeah.
Alright, so you pick just whatever you want to pick. If you want to pick.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to load. Cause,
Oh, is it? Be a bit slow, is it?
Yeah, it's acting a little slow because of this new fucking background.
Yeah, it's such high resolution. It takes up all the graphics. In fact, it runs faster when I get into battle. It's a good background, though.
Yeah.
And it's true, Zinch can read. Can read everything. Maybe that's the trick, though. He gets you can't read. He's just really good at guessing what words say. It sounds like something Zinch would do. Good old Zinch, big chicken nerd.
I'm gonna do a build that I've seen people like talk about having trouble with.
Oh, okay. You play Warriors of Chaos, are you?
Yes.
Did you want to just hop out so I can sort of like talk through things? I mean, like the chat thing. So, I don't know. It feels awkward me like running through how my builds would work.
I know exactly what I'm building, so I'm not changing it.
Oh, okay.
No matter what
I'll
you say.
trust you. I'll believe you on that one. I'll have it. Oh, actually, I got pinged. I must look at this ping. No, it's Solaris. Never mind. Useless ping. Right, so against Chaos. Obviously, where you always want to start is just looking at your Lord. Looking at your Lord, just sort of downgrade from there where you're going from. Probably Alariel on a good old Pigeon. It always works quite solidly. I feel like the old Alariel Double Noble on a Chariot works quite solid here. Despite Noble on a Chariot being anti-infantry, they still do a good amount of work against large things because of their charge bonus. And the fact they're armor piercing as well. So they still do a fair amount, even on their Chariot. And also when they're on the Chariot, they can run through Chaos Warriors and all those heavily armoured Chaos stuff, Forsaken, and do quite a fair amount of damage in those. And then of course, you're wanting to bring Alariel so you can drop Star of Avalons on them. I'm tempted to bring the Stave of Avalon. No, I don't think you'd need the Stave of Avalon in this situation. Tempest, not unlikely you'll see Manticores or any sort of dragon, but it is possible. It could be worth bringing Tempest if you're specifically frightful of those things. Banishment, you sort of already have the nobles to clear up a lot of that big infantry mess. Earthblood, of course, being just a heal, so it's always good. Could bring Thar's Protection as well. Those would probably be the 3 spells you want. Everything else working fairly well. Nobles not being immune to psychology, so it can be good to bring Boon Narisha, so that you can land her, or just have her hover over the noble blob to give them immune to psych. Going through the rest, probably want a mix of things, I'd say, because there's the risk that he'll go Chaos Spawn, and there's also a risk that he'll go heavily armoured infantry. So you sort of want to bring a mix of White Lines of Trace, along with probably some spearmen, or maybe a Sylvan Guard and then 2 spearmen. This sort of mix, because you need the spearmen and the Sylvan Guard to kill Chaos Spawn, and then you want the White Lines of Trace in case of heavy infantry. You also have the nobles there to deal with heavy infantry. Sister of Avalon, because of how armoured Chaos stuff can be, it would be tempted. I think it is a pretty good option to bring 2 of those. And then after that, really your only worry would be Skirmish Cav, which is why 2 Silver Helms with shields, I'd say, would be a pretty good. You could also try and find some money for some Dragon Printers. This is a general thing I feel like would work fairly well against the old Chaos boys. You can also go a sort of more boxy formation. The risk is they runs Hell Cannons, but if you bring a Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, they can snipe Hell Cannons pretty well as long as the terrain's okay. And then that is my army. Are you ready, Psycho?
Effectively, yeah.
Cool. Finish changing your army, cool.
Yes,
Double noble.
Changing it right away.
That sounds good. Sisters of Avalon, yeah, so I'll bring 10 units of hounds.
10 units of hounds, that's, yeah, even though...
I will...
Technically, you can do that because of the variants, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can, yeah. Yeah, 5 of each. In Bannermill. Actually, no, I think they count as the same variant. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to test it. No, we don't have to test it.
We will have to test it, yes.
This will be a good experiment. Ooh. Eschen being quite a popular map for tournament games or any games for the likes, just because it's quite nice and balanced.
Yeah, hills on both sides.
And a nice pass through the middle, which is where most people tend to fight.
Yep. Nice place to die.
Better place than any, eh? As good as any, some might say.
Exactly.
What would be a bad place to die? I feel like it doesn't make too much of a difference. I mean, the Chaos Wastes probably wouldn't be great. Probably get turned into a Chaos Spawn.
Altar of Ultimate Darkness.
Oh yeah, maybe that'd be great there, or maybe just in any undead area, because it probably means you're going to get raised as a zombie or a ghost or something. Just anywhere owned by the Vampire Counts or Coast or Tomb Kings. Actually, not Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings don't.
Well, Tomb Kings aren't that bad because you'd just be a skeleton.
Unless you're on Arkan's territory. In that case, it might not be the worst.
Well, yeah, that'd be
Welcome,
pretty bad.
Tox.
But like, when you think about it, it's like it's not so bad being a skeleton. At least no
Yeah,
one
it does
can
be
do
bad.
anything to you other
Yeah,
than
you're already dead.
break your bones.
Yeah, no, that's all I had left. Oh, my bones, my shins.
They've shot my knee again.
Yeah, Rakarthali's gonna flame me. Joke's on him. I'm a skeleton. What's he gonna do? Break my bones?
I've
No.
got no skin. Oh no, he's playing my
bones. He's
all the way down to the marrow.
grating my bones. That Ramsay Bolton, eh? God, what a scoundrel. I mean, Rakarth. Different person. Here we are. We are in the battle.
This is an army I don't normally bring as well,
Ooh,
so...
surprise army. Got to expect the unexpected with Chaos. I wonder how Warriors of Chaos will be changed in the Warhammer 3. Will they be changed at all? Will they be forgotten about even more than they are now? Who knows? Find out next time.
On this next
That would be good. I feel like they deserve some looking at. But I'm worried they'll just get forgotten about, because it's like now it's the new shiny demons of Chaos. Who cares about the Warriors of Chaos? Boo. Who needs them? It's the shiny demons of Chaos now. Concerning. Oh well, we'll have to see. Maybe they'll get Bellicor. Or maybe he'll be his own thing. So this sort of deployment working fairly well. You have the silver helms in the back to guard your Sisters of Avalon. And then of course you have the double noble for being a double noble. You can really just have them wherever they need to be. Avalon being on a pigeon means she can go wherever she likes. And then this sort of triangular formation works quite well. If you need to switch in the white lines to the front and the... Actually, yeah, it might be a better idea to work it as that. Because you're more likely to run into the armoured in the front and then the anything large on the sides. You have this one right in the dead middle in case of large, but you also have the nobles there. I'm ready when you are, Psycho. 515 models. How many units of Chosen do you have? Oh, we have 2 hell cannons. Interesting. Now in this situation, when you realise he's got 2 hell cannons, spread out everything as thin as possible. Because they'll do massive damage, especially to nice expensive archer units. So you just spin it out as much as you can. Oh, I am very glad I brought Tempest in this situation. Chaos Lord, Sorcerer and 2 Exalted Heroes. Quite happy about that. If I hadn't brought that, old Pigeon Queen might not be looking so good here. Now, even though on the minimap, looking around, I don't see anything he has, he could have a unit of hounds hidden somewhere, so I'm inclined to keep my sisters defended with 1 unit of silver helms, while the other one sort of gets after his skirmish cav. He's sending the skirmish cav at this point to go try and shoot down the Pigeon Queen, because he knows the danger of a well-placed storm, as we might see here. Good Tempest being put on there. Because some people forget, I actually forgot until fairly recently, like 3 or 4 months ago, that Tempest actually does damage. I actually just thought it was just a net ability, but you can see here it's doing a sizable amount of damage.
It does a lot of damage to the flying unit specifically.
Yeah, it only does anything to flying units, that's all that affects is flying units. But yes, I did actually only recently figure out that that's how they worked. These Chaos Warriors with halberds being unshielded means they'll take a fair amount of damage from the sisters. I do want to try and shut down those hell cannons at some point. Oh, but that pendulum coming down, I believe, yes. Oh, barely grazing them. You have to have sometimes good reactions there. You'll often see pendulums against as playing as high elves, because they're just so effective. So you really need to keep an eye out for those. If he is going down after my sisters at this point, I will hopefully get the noble squad in, being noble as always, because, you know, they're nobles. My skirmish cav appear to be going pretty ham. Try and get these boys to counter in. He's got a fairly box formation here, but he hasn't got quite as tight of a box as he thinks he does. Of course I'm saying this so he might realise, but Chaos Warriors are so slow that he's not going to be able to react in time. That is the downside. You tend to want a more tighter formation there. Of course the upside here is that Hell Cannon crew are unbreakable, so it's unlikely I'll be able to completely finish them. The Pigeon Queen getting in here as well there. Now these silver helms are basically dead for right. I'm just trying to get them to kill as many of that Hell Cannon crew as possible. That's all I can really hope for at this point. The old Pigeon Queen just flying around granting buffs to everyone around her. She's fairly untouchable at this point. Unless a Manticore comes up after her, in that case that could be a poor plan. Although perhaps old Pigeon Queen can outrun them, I believe? I'm not sure, but I know she can do is lay down Tempests. Because I brought them. Perhaps this has just made it entirely worth bringing Tempest against Chaos, is the thought of Manticores. Because Manticores are a good counter to old Alariel if she doesn't bring a Tempest, so. Because they do quite high damage to the old single entities. The situations like this, when these nobles get surrounded and they start to lose a lot of health, that's the times you want to start putting down the old stars, because of just the sheer amount of healing they provide. Oh, going after the Pigeon Queen again. The Pigeon Queen makes a run for it. Oh, he's going after my Sisters of Avalon here. I did lack the protection for them. I'll have to try and get these out of here. Also managing to land some hits on my Pigeon Queen. Flee, Pigeon Queen. Because Alariel, even on her Eagle, is not a great fighter, so you don't overestimate her ability to kill people, because it's not high. Despite being on a great Eagle. Another Tempest going down here. Although being able to land, you don't want to use a Tempest when they're so close to your units because it means they can just land and avoid the Tempest. Here I've got a good flank with my White Lions here, so those will do good against the Chaos Warriors with Halberds. He's recharging into the Spearmen. Spearmen will probably get terror routed, because there is the skill of Manticores that you can run them around so easily and just get them to terror out things, although they did seem to hold there, probably thanks to Olariel being close enough and granting the immunity psychology. I forgot about that part. Of course she is granting immune psychology to nearby units, which is quite good against these Manticores, which I think further reinforces the idea of Olariel being good in this matchup, providing terror immunity, and then Tempests that you can throw down just in case there are Manticores means that it's pretty good counter to any of the terror causing chaos units. These Manticores, that's one Manticore. In this matchup I feel like Olariel does win on that low health, but I wouldn't risk her in too risky situations, especially when she is your only caster. That does mean that you're just risking too much if you throw into certain situations. As you see here, he's gone after her quite heavily because she is the heart of the army. She goes, a lot of the army's power goes with her. The only reason why double nobles kind of works is because of Olariel. And her Star of Avalon and Earthbloods means you can just keep a really heavy heals on her. Olariel the Pigeon Queen. I mean Ever Queen. No, I mean Pigeon Queen. Pigeon Queen trying to make an escape here. He's casting Enfeebling Foe, but as long as I sort of keep her out of combat, should be okay. Of course, she's out of magic for Tempests at this point, but there is still range support to try and apply some of that pressure. But he too also has all his skirmish tools left. I only have the 1/2 unit of Silverhelms to sort of fight with, although he has landed his leadership core now, perhaps putting them in the line of fire with the Noble Squad, but he is running out of options now at this point. Going after my Sisters of Avalon, clearing them up. You can see just how long Sisters of Avalon hold out for. They are very high leadership.
Very frustrating to deal with if
and that's GG.
yeah.
Oh, save that one. Yeah, why not? Don't see us doing. Oh, we might do a chaos game at some point. We don't do the chaos.
Because yeah, the issue with bringing hounds as chaos against High Elves is that if they decide to even bother bringing Sister Avalon, your hounds are worthless. Because the sisters can easily kill the entire hound unit and then still be fine.
Maybe if you bring 4 units of hounds, you could, because I think 2 on 1 they'll probably win, but it's a risk. And hounds can be good against regular archers though, maybe as well.
Regular archers, yes, but again, who's going to bring regular archers?
Yeah, against chaos. Yeah.
If I wanted to bring a more effective army, because like I said, I don't bring this army ever because I don't like it.
That's fair.
It's way too much sitting around and doing dick all.
Yeah, with 2 hell cannons.
And also entirely banking on RNG or one aiming the cannon myself, because the cannons kept missing the Sisters of Avalon consistently. Like that's 1,200 gold that never paid.
They always seem to just overshoot at the nearer boundaries of their range. Yeah, they just barely overshoot. Feels like they're missing on purpose because they're far away. It's not a great feeling.
Well, you know, what I'd probably bring would be, because I'd probably bring like a sorcerer on a horse who can run away, but I can still support him. But just a shitload of Chaos Warriors, because the Sis just can't deal with that. Like, you can shoot as many arrows as you want. Yeah, you might kill one of them, but I still have 3 or 4 more that can still outfight.
Come through, and they do quite well against the Spearmen and the Sisters of the Silvern Guard. I'm not sure how they do against White Lions. I believe 1-on-1 White Lions win, maybe.
But by a pretty small margin. It's not like the halberds.
Yeah, it means there'll be not a lot left over to fight your next unit that you've got coming in. So.
Yeah, like the single unit halberds that was fighting. Did you buff that White Lions of Trace?
No, I didn't. No. I didn't think so. No.
Yeah, they lost pretty handedly because they actually have pretty melee.
Yeah, the halberds. Yeah, they don't dish out much damage unless it's large.
Even though they're armor piercing, usually Chaos Warriors can do okay, and I could just focus on pendulling them while I move forward, because you could try and cycle charge the back, but I would just have Marauders to keep the Silverhelms busy.
Yeah, but there you did it.
Did their job.
You expended a lot of your resources trying to get rid of those sisters, didn't you? With their 2 pendulums, hell cannon rounds. A lot of work.
That's usually the issue Elspeth is that it just takes, because their morale is so stupid, like ridiculously
Really high.
They don't break very easily.
No.
The only thing you can hope for is doing enough, kill enough units that their volleys aren't very effective. Like near the end, I could have just ignored them and they weren't really a threat and focused more on his infantry.
To answer your question, I do use mouse spells. I don't. Can't be asked. I mean, I probably should learn to use the hotkeys, but I have yet to do so at some point. I do just use the mouse.
I use not either.
Yeah.
If it's chosen, the chosen I believe will straight up win against White Lines of Trace, even though they're.
Yeah, I can see that just because of their stats. How do Forsaken do you know, against?
Forsaken, they do okay because of their very high weapon strength. Their melee damage is pretty much they'll bloody it, but they won't kill the unit or
win. Decisively.
Yeah, they won't win.
Yeah, especially when you got the void, they do take a lot of damage, I believe, from sisters as well. So
yeah, because there's but in a lot of cases, you could bring like horse masters. Horse masters can actually kill silver helms pretty well. Because again, their melee stats aren't that bad.
They're fairly decent. Silver helms are 34 from melee attack to weapon strength, 34, 30, 32.
Okay. That's not too bad. Oh, yeah, with the amount of missiles they can pour out.
Yeah, with the missile support as well. Also, they're cheaper by like 250, and they still get missiles as well.
Exactly.
Well, the Norse conversion gets rage, I believe.
Yeah, they do.
Chaos Unit don't get any of that though. The same price as well. So sad Chaos. Maybe they'll get something with the patch. Maybe they'll get like all Chaos units. You know how like Norse units have rage. Chaos ones get something else. Depending on what lord they have. If they have like a specific lord, I don't know. We'll have to see.
I've never understood why like they never gave immunity psychology to pretty much any of the Chaos Warrior units.
Maybe we'll hopefully see some of that whenever Chaos get their work done. When that is. Maybe that'll be the DLC. Who knows?
I remember seeing a lot of people talking about like halberd boxes with hell cannons. But usually it's either one, they have to be actually good at aiming the cannon, because you can reliably hit the archers over and over again with aimed shot. Which I guess they fired like 5 shots, so I could have destroyed the entire unit with just a cannon.
Yeah,
and that would have been a real bad position.
Aiming it better,
yeah, because then I could just focus my manticores on just dropping on your infantry and killing all of them really quickly. Yeah.
Did you want to play another one?
Here, I'll switch the faction to...
Yeah, I'll play High Elves then. Ooh, Skaven. The rats, of course, getting a nerf recently, so I've actually not seen many Skaven played.
Funny thing, didn't affect any of the units I use, so...
Oh right, good for you. So, against the Ratmen. Actually, I think I remember hearing Alexis. I mean, I'm making this build completely on my own. Who told you this? This is a completely original build. It being, what was this build? Alexis, are you here? Can you tell me the build? I know it involves good old Imric on his horse. Because Lord of Dragons means that you can beat pretty much any Skaven general. Is Alexis here? Oh, great. What was it? I must have been Law of Life. I refuse to believe he didn't bring Law of Life. Of course, because Law of Life, just so good to have. You always want a note to have as High Elves. You always want healing. If you're not bringing healing, it is fun to do the old Fire Dragon Imric on a Dragon Fire build, but you always, even in that build, I'd recommend just bringing a Life Mage with Earthblood, because High Elves, their low entity count means that healing is so effective against them, on them, even against them. It's just really good idea to bring healing, and a fair amount of it. Probably wanted to go for a Ranger frontline, I believe, because of the cheap frontline of the Skaven. You can be wary of Storm Vermin as well, which is why it might be an idea to bring a War Lions of Trace, perhaps, just in case of those. They'll also cleave quite nicely against Rhaegar's Pride, especially being good because of the leadership. But maybe 2 War Lions, White Lions of Trace, or you could go Spearmen and focus on the White Lions of Trace doing all the damage dealing, while the Spearmen are just there to hold. Of course, they take a lot of damage from Globadiers, which is the Globadiers have been nerfed, so I'm not sure if you'll be seeing them as much anymore. So perhaps we'll see a resurgence of a Spearman frontline against Skaven. As for the back line, cheap archers work fairly effectively against Skaven. They're not really worth shooting from a Skaven perspective, but they do a lot of damage. You do have to worry about wolf rats, which is why I think a good strong Dragon Prince core can work fairly well. It runs over pretty much everything in the Skaven roster, and if you get a surround on monsters, you'll kill them quite well. You can go for the Fireborn if you have the money for it. Here I do not have the money for it, so I will attempt to get some money from somewhere, perhaps dropping the regrowth, relying just on Earthblood for heals. And then I can not have enough money still, perhaps dropping a unit of archers and then bringing the Fireborn as well. Can also bring Silver Helms, they do the job fairly well as well. Maybe if I can see 2 units of Silver Helms, 2 units of Dragon Princes, they can work out pretty decisively. Plenty of Earthbloods for healing. Want to get as many Earthbloods out as I possibly can. Spearman front line, archers in the back, White Lions of Trace to support that Spearman front line in case he goes heavy in the infantry department. And then that's it. It should be noted that there's not much terror causing here, which can be a problem. I think maybe Great Eagles, something to fly over and disrupt weapon teams might be key. So perhaps dropping a Dragon Prince unit and bringing a Great Eagle, or perhaps a Phoenix, because Phoenix is of course causing terror. And the Frostheart Phoenix being better stat-wise, and the bombing not being very good, from the Fire Phoenix not being very good to use on Skaven lines, although the Frost one does not get the rebirth. Perhaps an Arcane Phoenix instead. Seeing where it's important to make these adjustments. You tend to want to make a baseline of an army, and then make adjustments where you can to conserve costs and the like. Shield of Thorns can be good now. I'd say Awakening in the Woods. Skaven front lines tend to be quite spread out, so an Awakening in the Woods doesn't seem to do very much often. Yeah, I'd say perhaps an Arcane Phoenix should just be enough for terror causing, and the likes. Getting the rebirth off as well could be a good explosion thing to do, and also just do a lot of healing. Saves you having to heal it with Earthbloods. And really you're bringing this for the terror. You want to bring a Phoenix, I think, against Skaven because of that terror causing, which you really do want to bring against Skaven. You could bring Imric on his dragon. That is a very large cost increase, and it can make him vulnerable to Jezzails. Well, more vulnerable than he already is. So perhaps not the best, but it's possible. And also the breath attacks tend to get wasted on Skaven, so you don't tend to need them too much. I can also see bolt throwers being quite good in this matchup. Perhaps I will swap out the archer backline for 2 bolt throwers, because they do very well against Skaven weapon teams and Skaven artillery. And the archers don't do an awful lot. They're good against the monsters of the Skaven. You don't really want to be shooting the front line, and the weapons teams are quite armoured, so regular archers not a great asset there. But this army looking fairly decent, I think. Just seeing where I can spend my last 100 gold, if not just in chevroning. Always try and aim to upgrade a unit as opposed to just chevroning up a existing one. I kind of might switch out a Stim and actually throw a ranger unit, I think. I don't think I need to worry about much large with Imric and the Dragon Princes and the bolt throwers, so it's a fairly good swap out in my opinion. Should I change the map? What map? Name a map, Psycho.
Blue.
Blue Reach Mountain. Blue. You named it.
I don't know.
Is there one? I thought there was one that had blue in it.
So I'm already set already.
Blue. Okay, we'll just go BL. Black. That's a colour as well. Black Fire Pass. There you go. Wait, isn't there a balanced one here? It's like black. I thought there was black. Bleak Coast Isle South. That's the one. Oh, it's this one. Okay, we'll do this one. Is map alright with you, Psycho?
Yeah.
Okay, we just need to ready up, sorry.
Okay. I unready to look at the map.
Oh, did you? I thought I unreadied when you switch map. Automatically.
No. Oh, it's this map, yeah.
Yeah, Aranthil, dealing with Skaven is a problem just for all factions because of the variety they can bring. They've gotten so many DLCs that they can really bring a lot. They can go full Eshin. I think this build that I've got works fairly well against everything, but you just have to focus into some more things than others. You'll often see weapons teams, a full Eshin build. You don't see very often, so expecting sort of a pattern. So you'll expect monsters, you'll expect weapons teams. You just need to sort of focus out those key assets and try and take them down as much as you can. But really, that's the power of Skaven. They can do anything, and all the options they have are pretty good. So
yep.
That's the worry there. Maybe one day everything will be that good. By the end of Warhammer 3 cycle, every build, every faction will have so many options that, apart from dwarves, because it's dwarves.
Dwarves because it's dwarves.
Dwarves' only strategy will be make a box and press ready up, end. Profit.
Loyal. Spearman. We will obey. We will obey. Eagle claw. Silver helms. Serve the king. Bilateral.
So here I'm just using my cavalry as much. I'm relying on my Eagle Claw bolt throwers to sort of take out his backline weapon teams like avalanche mortars, plague catapults and the likes, and then I'm just utilising the cav for defence at this point. If I do need them to flank or chase after something, they can do that as well, but I do want to be mindful, especially on this map when you can deploy wolf rats behind me, or anything behind me, so it is a worry. A lot of vanguard space on this map. In fact, it's sometimes a good idea if you have a cheap flying unit. I might do it with my Arcane Phoenix here. I might just send something back into the forest to check for anything hidden. Imric in this matchup with his Lord of Dragons is very good at killing any lord, and of course the Dragonhorn means that everything does melee attack and causes fear, which is very good against Skaven front lines. I don't think the lions... Yeah, the lions do already cause fear, but this means my spearmen, my rangers, my silver helms, everything will cause fear and have 24 melee attack, which is like a war, pretty much, which is very good.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Are you ready? Yes. So it begins. Okay, I was actually expecting a full Eshin army just to appear in front of me there. So, glad it wasn't that.
And I got some variety now.
No, have
Watch
you?
out.
Oh no, it's not just full Eshin every time. What have we got here? So we've got rattling guns,
Also,
a strong pick.
I bring Flesh-in. I usually bring Tredge.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. You're the madman. Warlock Master. Some Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, Clan Rat Spears, Globadiers, Bombardiers. We'll have to see how... Oh no, these are Death Globe ones. Why couldn't you bring a Poison Wind unit? I wanted to see how they changed it. Oh well. Triple Rat Ogre.
They just changed it. No, it's still the same type of weapon.
Yeah, but they changed how the damage works, so I was wondering how much that's going to affect like their output.
As far as I understand, it's just it's shittier against like monster units because it doesn't do as much damage if it doesn't hit enough models in its splash.
I see. Could that also mean that like if they don't hit all of the models with one globe, that they just don't do enough damage? So that probably affects the mortars, because the mortars never really hit that much. Actually, they just hit like the corners and then apply the debuff. Or I've just noticed that my Eagle Falls are in range. I should probably start using them. Against weapons teams, it's better to use the single shot, because you want to be sniping. Not only do they have really high armor, you want to be sniping models more than you want to just be doing overall damage. So it's much more effective just to fire shots off into weapons teams, despite them being infantry. And you think, okay, I use the anti-infantry. No, when you want to just take rid of models, you use the single shot. And of course, the front lines will be going in here. Not going to move that far forward, although he does have some slingers. Although I believe the lions have some missile resistance. Yeah, they do have 20% missile resistance, but they don't have much armor, so they will take a fair amount of damage from slingers. I will engage the front lines on my own here, I think. Or he's trying to get a brass orb onto my rangers. There he gets one off. Going to go for a bit of a wide flank with those. He's got the Warlock Master on his own. Looking a bit... He's got his opportunities like this when the Lord is quite ahead of the line. Can be good to take advantage of, but he has entered very decisively. So you can see just the damage that my bolt throwers have already done to his weapon teams. That's why they're such a good target for him. At this point, when you have so much engaged in melee, it's a good idea to start dropping your Dragonhorn when everything's dropped, giving some strong damage to just everything. They're also causing fear, so that will affect the Skaven morale. Keeping these... Oh, I forgot about my bird. My flaming bird. Although it does appear he's also forgot about his rat ogres, so you know. Potato. White Lion's taking a fair amount of damage, but he's got his caster, and he's got an Eshin Sorcerer along with a Warlock Master. Interesting. Oh, I see, that was what was doing the damage. It was the Warp Grinder. He had a Warp Gale. The Warp Storm, not being like Tempest, it doesn't do damage, but it is a good solid net for him to utilise his Rattling Gunners. Although thankfully by this point I've done most of the damage to them, so their models are really reduced. Silver Helm's coming through to surround those ranged units in the back. I don't think he has anything to go after my Eagle Claws, so at this point I can move the Dragon Helms in. Or the Dragon Princess, that's the one. Imric being a very good duelist, so he can take care of most Skaven lords, heroes and the likes. Getting my rangers back in, getting those lions as well. Lions being a good target for healing as well. I just want to try and get out as many casts of healing as I can. I have Terror routed, so you see the reason why you bring Terror against Skaven is because it just works very well at terror routing everything due to low morale and the likes. Oh, looks like he's got his Rat Ogres coming in against my Silver Helms. That will be a fight. We'll have to see how that turns out. My White Line's rallying. I'm just going to try and chase off this Lord. When you terror out off a Lord, you really want to just follow that through with whatever you have.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Forgot my Rat Ogres, that's why this one's so bad.
Yeah, I forgot my bird at the back, but I got him in time to do some things. I believe even Rat Ogres are not immune to psychology. They do have Frenzy, so they're sort of immune to psychology as long as they're healthy. But
fear, but they yeah, no.
Yeah,
they my Rat Ogres turned out very different.
My bolt throwers have, so you see just how the bolt throwers do clear up the weapon teams quite nicely, which is why I see them. You might sometimes see like lots of warp lightning cannons just to deal with the triple bolt throwers, or Jezzails. I believe Jezzails get out sniped by bolt throwers, but the Aurora, of course, having snipe means that they can't get out sniped because they can't shoot back. So I do be aware of those.
Yeah, terror routed all of the Rat Ogres.
Yeah, the Rat Ogres around. They have Frenzy as well. I thought they only lose Frenzy at a certain health threshold.
Only when they have about 50% morale.
Oh, I see it when the morale drops. So yeah, when with their low morale of Rat Ogres, they do reach that threshold fairly quickly. And of course, when they reach that threshold, they are very prone to terror routing.
Yeah.
So that Frenzy not applying quite as often as you'd expect. That's why sometimes you need to pair them with some good leadership to make sure that doesn't happen.
Like technically, I could have made all my gutter runners appear behind you and then ran up and attacked your.
Yeah, bolt thrower crews. Yeah, just have my heavy cav in the back though. So, but you could have had something sticking inwards.
If I had my rat up in the front, I could have actually swamped your lord right away.
Yeah, and they could have done some good damage to the white lines as well.
Yeah, I just forgot to bring them up with me.
Good game there. Oh, you can see the
also,
Phoenix damage there.
The other thing, I used Warp Gate on the damn Phoenix, and I threw all the death globes at him, and did no damage.
Did no damage, did they? Yeah, only 400 value.
Absolutely no damage. Stuck 20 seconds in the air.
Was that the accuracy? Were they missing, or I couldn't quite see what was going on there?
I guess, yeah, the change really fucking nerfs the shit out of globes fighting monsters, I guess, now.
Well, no, that was the, those don't have that. I think it's just the poison wind effect that's been changed, not the death globes.
This is also technically a poison wind weapon.
Is it? Does it apply the poison wind debuff?
No, but does do magic, and... Oh wait, are the Arcane Phoenix immune to magic?
No, they don't have magic resistance there. They have fire resistance, but that's it. Yeah, the changes were made to, you know, like how the poison winds have their debuff effect. I think that was what was changed. Didn't death globes get buffed or something? I don't know. I know nobody uses them, unfortunately, compared to poison winds. People tend to like bring poison winds for.
Super expensive, like. But
yeah.
The thing, if you can, because I was planning to like hide them, so I can actually do that. But I noticed that you had 2 bolt throwers, which is like, no, I can't do anything about that. Unless I had like put all my gutter runners, waited to engage, and then attack them. But at that point, it'd be too late. But also, if I had my red ogres there, the silver hems would have been stopped dead in their tracks.
Yeah, they would have stomped them. Yeah, which is why this build sort of works quite well against Skaven there. I'm not sure about that Y lines of trace. Maybe the wall lines of trace could be switched out. I noticed they died fairly quickly.
They didn't like. I guess like you're trying to use the fear, but also with the Warp Block Master, I just used Death Frenzy on my rats, so they weren't.
They weren't affected by that, yeah. So yeah, I think this is just a sort of a baseline as a good build against the fact. I'm going to save this because I don't think I have HE versus Skaven.
Yeah, the Skaven have a problem with cavalry. The only way they can deal with it is either 1, the weapon teams, or 2, rat ogres.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can have spears, but they can just run around the spears.
The bolt throwers are there to kill the weapons teams and the rat ogres. So.
had to bring gutter runners, which are okay at fighting, and also have themselves like 20 physical resist, so
Alright then.
pretty fast. I've had scenarios where people would like try and run down gutter runners with with poison, and they just keep throwing shurikens behind them and bring their speed down to like 56, so they're just slightly faster. So
Ever so slightly faster, yeah.
But also that map kind of is
A long
not
map.
good for me.
Yeah.
So,
I thought you would have warp lightning cannons, so I was like, no, worry, not looking forward to this. I thought this would be an advantage to you, but you didn't.
I could have brought those, or I could have brought like the wheeling.
Yeah, I think one-on-one warp lightning cannons lose to bolt throwers, but the idea is to bring like 3 warp lightning cannons, because it's unlikely
just
that.
Completely overwhelm
Yeah,
them.
to overwhelm, just outnumber them and take them out.
The thing is, if you've got enough slaves and enough spears, you can actually keep the cavalry at bay and just keep shooting at them. Yeah, there's not much you can do against 9 cannons. Even if you lose half your cannons, 4 cannons is still pretty devastating to deal with.
Yeah. Is there anybody in chat that wants to play?
I'll just join as a spectator.
No, I was thinking we finish, because it's probably the last battle, we could finish on a 2v2 of some kind.
Okay.
See if there's anybody in chat that wants to play. If not, we can just do another 1v1. No problem. Am I about still potato sauce? If you want to join, see if we can get another one. Oh, my chat just reset. No, it didn't. I just scrolled up by accident.
Did it reset?
My chat just scrolled up for some reason. Password 123. The highest tech password. Anybody else that wants to join?
Yes.
Let's have a look. Scroll these through my friends list who I can bribe or bully into joining. Alexis is at work. Cap's playing EU4. Ted's playing some sad Stellaris game. Boo. Who plays Stellaris? Am I right? Anybody else in chat who wants to play? Tox, you can play? Sure. Jump in, Tox. Wow, look at a map actually. What map should we do, Psycho? Name a map. Any map.
We should do...
Don't say Fallen Man.
Ultimate Darkness, clearly.
Okay.
But no, Bjorn's Gathering's pretty flat.
You know what, screw actually, you know what we're doing Fallen Man? Why not? We'll end it on our Fallen Man. Pigman bad. He's not here, but I can still say Pigman bad. The Fall of Men. You know what, I think I'll play Avalon for this one, but just to point out that Avalon does have some extra units available to them. Dryads, Treemen, and Treekin. Sometimes being good. Dryads definitely applying a different approach to the front line, being more of a rush and armoured as well, and magical damage. That'd be actually being kind of rare amongst the front line of... actually really rare against all sort of high elf in this. Not a lot of magic damage, so Dryads can be good there, along with Treekin and Treemen. High elves not really having a ground single entity, so Treemen sort of stand out in that regard.
Yeah. Actually, I remember once in a 3v3, a Wood Elf player decided to bring an entire front line of Dryads against, the Empire army with handguns.
No, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that didn't last very long.
No, yeah, no shields, no missiles, just bang, shoot them all down. Along with some Empire Knights to clean them up. Steel, faith, and gunpowder.
Yes. You draw.
I'll be back in a second. Just probably just gonna get some more water. Back in a minute. Hello, I am back. Ah, I've got toxin. Cool. Oh, could not hear the stream. I might have deafened myself. Maybe that was affecting it. Oh yeah, I deafened myself. Were you talking,
You guys
Psycho?
can- Oh, I guess you guys can just pick whatever
I think
factions.
I was deafened. Yeah, just pick whatever you want. Let's see. I'm gonna go with the green elves. Yeah, I deafened myself, I realised.
Work.
So you couldn't hear Psycho.
You left me all alone.
All alone in the dark. Ooh. Run away. Let's have a look, see. What are we fighting? Norska and play whatever you want, Tox. You playing Beastman Tox? The Beastie Boys making all the noise. Beastman. Go. Ooh, Beastman. Oh. I'm gonna build silently for this one. Just going to go through the processes.
I see.
Alright, I'm ready whenever you guys are.
I am ready. I see potato sauce is using the Bretonnians.
Libertor. Oh yes, the two. A perfect thing to end on. Last thought battle of the sessions that we're going to have on High of Bretonnia. It's High Elves and Bretonnia versus Norska and Beastman. Quick, throw Psycho so it looks like we've done a good job.
Yes.
Through the game.
Well, I threw the other two games.
Oh yeah, no, but another one.
What did you throw?
There's one more.
Oh, you're making me look bad.
I'm sorry.
He was playing the Beastie Boys.
Hang on a second, somebody's insulting the honour of the undead. I must defend it. There you go. Defended.
Like, if this was like a wider deployment zones, this could be pretty cool 4v4 map.
Hmm. here we are, full of men. An oddly small sort of fighting area, considering the map is so big. Like this, you look at the mini map, you can see how just it's a lot of wasted space.
Over all the way to the other side.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be really cool. But that right side, I think there's something that happens there in the quest battle, isn't there? So on that right side, but not here. There's no quest battle happening here.
You would think they'd just make a multiplayer version of the battle.
You'd think that, wouldn't you? But what do they have, like 4 multiplayer maps, and didn't they come out with Warhammer 1? So yeah,
it was awful.
That's all we get. That's all we get, Kevin. You have to get the scraps. That's all we get. Oh yeah, I've just realised I've hogged all the space. I thought there was more area to deploy on that right side. Better stop hogging.
Loyal. Spearman.
Alariel the Everqueen.
Alariel the Pigeon Queen.
High Priestess.
Fireborn. Dragon Princes. Fireborn.
Alright, I'm ready whenever you guys are. We're ready to go? Are you ready, Psycho?
Almost.
Right.
The hill is very weird to set up on.
On this map, yeah. Cursed map.
I'm ready now.
Cool, let's get this show on the road.
Alariel the Everqueen.
Alariel the Pigeon Queen, there's lots of Centigals. Oh no, get away from me.
That double sundry.
Of course it is. I had to end it on a low note.
Cancerous win.
Yeah, and oh my god, the dry. Oh yeah, those are great weapons. Yeah, they'll get stumped by. I burnt my own trees there. Oh, tree man.
As all things should be.
Yes.
Perfectly. No. Some technical weight weapons obviously would do good against High Elf Cav and Bretonnian Cav and the likes. Trying to just do as much damage as I can to them at this point. And we chase them off. Damn dirty goats. Oh, which is a Kalkengar there. Get on the Fireborn. Fireborn should counter them fairly well, but I think they got a good charge off. Oh my god, there's so much infantry rushing onto the Bretonnia side. Oh my god. Fight! Brave Asray! And trees, apparently. Oh, walking into a pit of shades there, not good, not good soldiering. Oh, looks like I've been flanked a bit. I have been outflanked. I thought it was strange where all the Beastman army was.
Dawn's hope.
Advance. Without fail. Pull back.
Ever onward.
For order.
Oh no, so all of a sudden I'm charging uphill somehow. How did this happen? We're smarter than this. Trying to just gang up on this Cygor now.
Forward. Light of Avalon.
Moving out.
Yes.
Cygor will pose no more threat to Azray lives. Butchers are cocking card there, finishing off what I had. Oh, I think that might be a good spot for a banishment over here, maybe? No, probably not a good idea. One of my dragons is taking a brunt of fire. Not looking good. Oh, don't. No, you didn't. I thought you just turned the dragon into kill spawn. So we got to see that again. Was that a comment I saw? I think it was a good comment. Ooh, that could be good. Overcasted banishment, you don't see those very often. Yeah, it looks like the entire Beastman army was behind me. All along. Oh, these guys are getting destroyed here. Okay, I've shattered off that Cygor, thankfully, although the entire Beastman army is behind us. But it's mostly Ungors, it seems, hopefully. Hopefully it's only Ungors. Oh dear, the Butchers, though, still very capable. See if we can't get a good breath on them. We kill a model or two, hopefully. Trying to get up on Morgul there. These do fire damage and Morgul has fire weakness, so that's a good duo there. Oh, they're going after L'Oreal though. The Pigeon Queen falters. Kind of stuck on a cliff here. Thankfully these Butchers are weak to fire and at the downside of their regeneration. So a good strong breath should do a fair good of damage there, yeah. Very good damage. Still so many Ungors left though. But I still have some Dryads. Oh, and it looks like most of the Norscan army has folded, except Bretonnia has one on this side. There's a lot of Ungors there.
Yeah, losing like half of my army to a pair of dragons and Dryads was not helpful.
Yeah, I didn't realise the Beastmen were behind me, so I just sort of charged forward expecting to run into Ungors. And didn't, so I sent my Dryads over to your side instead. But now my Dryads can't really do much because they're all the way over here and there's so many Ungors to kill. And a lot of archers, my god.
Yeah, no. I'm out of the battle now.
Where are you? Didn't you?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Where did you bring as a Lord? Wolfric?
Wolfric on foot, which was holding out fine. It's just the fact that, again, I lost half my army to your units.
Yeah, my units that came over, yeah. Oh, I think that's army losses there. Thankfully. Well, good game.
Yeah,
there was a point where I thought we'd really lost that there, but it managed to turn around.
Well, the thing is, I lost my entire army. It got wiped out. So, can't really hold together when I'm fighting two armies at once. It is the unfortunate truth.
Unfortunate. So yes, really good value from those Sun Dragons. They just managed to crump a lot of the Beastman stuff there with breath attacks, hitting, and the likes. Yeah, it was a good game, guys.
Yeah. Actually, most of my throwing axemen and javelins got okay value.
Oh yeah, that's a good right. That's a good point. As for other, what else I forgot? Yeah, well, a lot of those items do work on flying units.
Value. Yeah, my spearmen got caught by the Dryads and couldn't kill them.
Yeah, that's not a good matchup for the spearmen, is it?
Some of my berserkers and champions got caught by them too, so they just did nothing, couldn't fight anything. Yeah, that was very frustrating. And I lost a unit of javelins and axe throwers to your Dryads.
My Dryads got around the flank, yeah. Alright then, well, I'll stop my recordings.
I guess this could be a lesson of why doing that sort of Vanguard shit isn't useful.
Yeah, because in a 1v1 it can be, but in a 2v2 it often pulls some attention away and can cause those 2v1 situations that you don't want happening.
And also the fact that the enemy player can just decide to, how about we just stomp on one army and then...
Alright then, well, thank you for playing everyone, and this is the end of the High of Bretonnia stage. We'll put a poll down, or somebody will put a poll down to see what we do next week. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.